Hi there, and welcome to this week's Growth Execution webinar. We are here every single week to give you, budding entrepreneur, growth leader within your current business, ideas that are going to help you to execute on growth. Now, it's always a question, and it's always one that is posed to us here at Growtion very, very frequently. In this one, this week it is, who should I partner with? Now, one of the ways that you can grow really, really quickly is by choosing the right partner, whether it's an organization, whether it's a company, an association, that can help you to reach your audience much more quickly. So what we're going to do over the next 10 minutes, 50 minutes or so is just run through really quickly how you can identify and execute on the best partnerships possible for your business. All right. First of all, though, as ever, let's just put this into context. There are three distinct disciplines that are going to help you to grow your business and grow it fast. They're within product, marketing, and sales. And within each of those disciplines, there is 5 elements. Now, this particular topic is going to cover number 12, which is sales collaboration. All right. So you already have your product. You already got your marketing up and running. What we're very interested in right now is how we can utilize these partnerships, these collaborations, in order to sell more of your product or service. So why do we go after these partnerships? The reason we're looking to get more involved with those that are already speaking to our customers is essentially threefold. Primarily what we're looking at is the data that these businesses can help us to accrue. Now, any business that is a little bit ahead of us and who has been in this market or has been in an adjacent market selling different things to the same consumers as we want to target or the same businesses we want to target, they're going to have a lot of data. Okay, they're going to understand about the behavior of those particular customers. They're going to understand more than we do about who they are, their contact details, etc. So just simply by organizing the right partnership with the right partner, what you're doing is gaining access to a reservoir of knowledge, of information that you wouldn't otherwise be able to touch. Now, clearly, this is something that they are very mindful of. And they know that this partnership is going to potentially give you more than it will give them directly. All right. So actually from a pure quid pro quo barter basis. But what you have the opportunity to do as perhaps a younger company, as one that's coming through the ranks, is to offer to this business some of your own expertise and data too. So perhaps you are bringing a different product to market, or you have seen it work in other areas. Your specific expertise, your knowledge, your tests, etc., can help, not explicitly, so you don't obviously share too much of your own internal IP with them, but what you can do is help them and give them some insights into some new technologies that are coming along, etc. So partnerships are just that. They're two-way partnerships between two organizations that are looking to help each other out. And in going into these partnerships in the first place, what you're doing is offering some of that level of sort of expertise, that level of information too. All right. So when you're thinking about partnerships, think about the data kind of exchange you can do, but very specifically, think about what it is that you are going to want that partner to provide to you so that you can grow your business fast. Now, that may be a shared email shot, for example, that goes out to all of their audience introducing you. That may be information about how long the sales cycle is. It may be a lot more about the kind of types of cohorts, demographics of these individuals too. So when you see a business that is in an adjacent space to you, so not obviously a competitor of yours, clearly not somebody who has the wherewithal to move into your space or is likely to move into your space if they see that you are making some very quick tracks. But that's not to say as well that they shouldn't be somebody that might be looking to acquire you in a few years' time when you are phenomenally successful. Right. So starting those conversations as early as possible is also beneficial. And going into partnership with those companies can also give them a real feel for you as a business and whether you are in due course going to be something that or an entity that they may want to do a deal with as well. But for now, the data is very, very much central to how you are going to get your product and service out to a market that already has some trust invested in this particular partner of yours. All right, on that note, we move on to the second of our three here, which is integrity. So by partnering up with a business that is perhaps bigger than yours, perhaps been around a bit longer than yours, but certainly is already selling to your audience, what you're doing is borrowing their credibility, okay, borrowing the integrity that others have already seen in them and have sought to buy into, literally. So integrity and the credibility side of things is really, really important. And you can see this in, whether it's the sponsorship of sports teams, whether it is influencers on Instagram. These are people who have already built an audience that knows them, that likes them, that has trust in them. And simply by partnering up with them and by being seen in the same space as them, what you're doing is you are building your own integrity as well. And their recommendation is giving you credibility and kudos that you might not otherwise have. So integrity is the second of the three key things that you will get from a great, great partnership. The third is advice. Often neglected, often kind of not really asked for, if I'm honest. But I think that this is one of the real gems of getting the right partnership, is being able to ask that partner some things about going into your audience, about going into your market, about their behavior, about how they did it themselves, because they would have been in your position at some stage in their past. So that advice side is almost that kind of soft benefit that you don't necessarily immediately think about. But it's something that I heartily recommend that you think hard about. You remind yourself to ask the questions of those partners and see if you can get some additional information that's going to help to move you forwards faster and ensure that you don't have to make the same mistakes that they may have made along the way. All right, so there are three distinct areas that you can benefit from the right partner in data, integrity, and advice. Another thing that's really important when you are partnering up with a particular organization, particularly one that is bigger than you, is there needs to be some humility here. So I'm going to assume that you are partnering up with somebody that is further ahead than you, that has more of a reach than you at this point. And those are by far the majority of the partnerships that I see SME clients and others getting involved with, because it is of benefit to them. Larger organizations do organize partnerships themselves, but they then also tend to look above them and so on and so forth. So the instigator of the partnership is almost always the smaller party. Now, as a result of that, even if it's your idea, and you see here down the bottom of the pillar is your idea, you then, once you've got their agreement, frequently that agreement will be almost entirely dependent on you doing a lot of the work. All right, they don't tend to say, right, yeah, we'll be able to deploy those of our resources, unless you have a phenomenal product that is clearly going to win and is clearly up and coming. So what you need is, you need to, once you've got their agreement, once you are there and within a contract, whether it's verbal or whether it's actually written, it is down to your execution to make this work. All right, be under no illusion that this is something that they're going to throw their shoulder into as much as you will, because they will get distracted. They have a billion other things to do. And you may find times where you are unbelievably frustrated with the fact that you cannot get in touch with the person that you have agreed this with, and they are incredibly elusive and they don't tell anybody else about it, and so on and so forth. You have to do a lot of this running. You have to do a lot of the thinking as well. So thinking ahead, working out that there are certain things that are going to be compromised and that you may find aren't in the right place at the right time. So do think hard about how you're going to execute on this and fold that into your whole approach to this partnership. It cannot be just that you are going to sign an agreement and then it's just going to work like clockwork. You're going to need to put your shoulder into it and to make it to make more of an effort to make it happen than they will. Right? So humility, really important attribute when it comes to partnerships, particularly with those that are bigger than you. Always, we want to give you an action every week to go away and execute on that is related to the question at hand in this growth execution webinar. So this is about how you understand the integration side of it, all right, and then how you execute on it. So the integration side, it can be really soft. So an integration can be something as simple as they're going to mention you in an email out to their members, or they're going to send a tweet or something like that, right? Or it can be a hard integration, which is where essentially the customer, the mutual customer of both of your organizations, is going to just see a single data entry point, or going to get a single product or a single service that is the integrated whole of your partnership. All right. So those, the harder integrations are ones obviously that bring with them a lot more richness in terms of the partner, in terms of the partnership, but it will take longer to build. All right. And one of the things I've found, as you do with any product, is that you can spend a long time building those really hard integrations, release it to the world, and everyone goes, you know what, don't really care that much. It's fine. So I would always go for the quickest possible. Okay. So get an understanding that yes, you may move towards that hard integration further down the line. But for now, let's just do the soft stuff. Let's just do it quickly as possible. Let's just make something happen, and let's get our names out into the world together, whether it's just a PR piece you send out saying that you're partnering up, whether it's that first offer. And what it does is it locks that partnership in. It makes sure that it's not going to go anywhere, and that you then, if you are still to move towards that hard integration, you're able to do that whilst the partnership is giving value to both entities, and therefore that integration is going to continue. Often, if nothing is happening and you're not getting any take up or anything like that, then you are going to have to to work twice as hard to get the integrations in, because the other party is just going to see it as not necessarily something that's going to benefit them over the medium to long term. So quick as possible, go for the soft rather than the hard integration at the outset, and prepare for problems. Just like I said a second ago, this is not without risk. There are going to be times when that partner is going to look around and go, I don't have the time for this, I don't have the inclination for this, something is going to have to give. At that point, anticipate it. Make sure you're having those conversations with that partner as early as possible, bringing them through those tough times so that they can see you're serious about it. You've done some hard work, hard thinking about how this is going to pan out, and you're able to execute on solutions to problems, or at the very least, come up with those ideas really, really quickly, so that they can then be jointly executed, so that the partnership is maintained through even the toughest of moments. All right. So those three really important from an actions perspective. Recommendations, we always like to give you something to go and have a look at. This week, the recommendation is Zapier. If you don't know it, it's an amazing tool that basically swaps data between various entities. So obviously in the case of our partnership that we're discussing here, if it can take a customer record or some customer information that they type into a landing page that's on your partner site, then the exchange of that data through to you, who wants to, from that customer that wants to partake of your service, the more straightforward and integrated you can make that. The better for the customer, because they get it quicker. The better for you, because you are much more likely to see that relationship stick. And the better for the partner, because they don't have to do anything. It's just instantaneous to get the data across to you. All right, so Zapier, amazing piece of kit, really well worth checking out. All right, so that is the answer to this week's question: who should I partner with? All right, now if you need any more on any growth execution topic, particularly on this one, go ahead to growtion.co, growtion.co. You can find anything about executing on growth there for your business. Do go check it out. Sign up for the growth execution tips if you're not already on that list. You can join the growth execution group on Facebook, because we're always in there as well, just chatting about growth and how it can happen for you. All right, look, I hope you've got what you needed from this week's growth execution webinar. Join us again next week for another question about business growth. In the meantime, if you're ready, let's get growing.